Hi, and welcome. Dark Souls 1 has quite a few covenants, 9 to be exact. 3 are PvE focused, 5 are for PvP, and 1 is just kinda there. But they all share something in common: rewards. In exchange for special currency gained by engaging in the specific activity, whether it be PvP, PvE, or killing rats, you'll get a covenant currency. Turning in a certain amount of covenant currencies will get you items in return. So, let's beat the game with them. I chose Pyromancer as my starting class, but this wasn't a good choice. Since we can't get any covenant items until after the asylum, I go through like normal, grab my axe, and plant it into the asylum demon's skull. Afterwards, I leave for Lordran and head to the catacombs. For an added rule of this run, once I get my first covenant item, I will no longer be using my Estus. It's not a covenant item, however, for the sake of my sanity, and to get this run out in a timely manner, I will be using upgrade materials. 2/3 of the way down the catacomb skip, we can enter this hallway, and at the very end, past the Titanite Demon, we can grab 3 Eyes of Death, which is our first covenant currency. Just back a bit, we can hop into the coffin and end up in the Tomb of the Giants. Going up to Nito and entering the Gravelord servants, we can get the melee weapon of this run, the Gravelord Sword. We can't wield it just yet, so we finish the catacomb skip and summon Leroy. Well, that's not a covenant reward, I hear you typing. And yes, Leroy isn't a covenant reward. Be kinda strange if he was, but his armor does say he's part of the Way of White, so I'm counting it, it's close enough. Leroy clears Pinwheel for us, so we get the souls to level up to use the sword. The sword is a curved sword with some unique quirks to it. First, the R2 is a thrusting attack for high damage. Second, it does toxic buildup, but I kid you not, this only procced 3 times during this run. 3 times. It's incredibly good early on, one-shotting mostly everything. I continue on through the Burg and make it to the Taurus Demon. Now that damage is chunky. Now the damage was really good, but I was nervous that the damage would fall off super fast due to the E-scaling on both Dex and Strength. But we're gonna have to see. After Taurus Demon, we head to the Parish and to Andre. In the basement below, he captured a Taurus Demon to fill his sick pleasures, so we put it out of his misery for the first Demon Titanite of the run. We upgrade to a +1 before Gargs. If we were able to take down the Titanite Demon that easily, I can't imagine the Gargoyles were going to pose a threat, and well, they weren't. Just 4 hits for the first Garg and 2 hits for the second. First bell rung, we can head down to the lower Burg. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea to slowly clear the Burg and play it safe because I can't heal, instead of just remembering that I have over 1,000 hours on this game and can easily just sprint through the Burg, but I didn't. I just spent time dying over and over again. Eventually, I do just start to run through it and make it all the way to the female undead merchant. Here I buy a prism stone and a dung pie. These are for later. Capra doesn't start off great, getting cornered by one of the dogs and then landing an attack after getting hit myself. But with a stagger and one last hit, Capra goes down without much issue. If we head back to the Undead Asylum, we can use the Prism Stone and Dung Pie from earlier to get another 2 Demon Titanite for a +2 before Gaping Dragon. The depths can be skipped with a swag jump here and another one on top of the rat. Pick up the key and hang left to drop all the way down to the last floor. From here, backtrack to the bonfire and prepare for Gaping Dragon. Since I'm lazy and don't want to take the 5 minutes to kill the Channeler, I instead bring the Gaping Dragon to the back of the arena, and this stops the Channeler from buffing and shooting magic. So, Gaping Dragon goes down without much trouble. Blighttown, aka the basement of a Wendy's. You can skip Blighttown with just a few swag jumps and grab the bonfire. Super easy. Quelaag is one of those bosses where she kicks ass your first few times, but after you learn her tells, she's very easy. Stick next to the spider's head or the spider's body and just watch out for the leg slams and the explosion. Other than that, she goes down pretty easily. We ring her bell and head for Sen's Fortress. In my script here, I, for whatever reason, wrote, so far, Covenant item is going pretty well. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so far the Gravelord sword is doing pretty well, but would the damage keep up with the upgrades? I just have to see. Sins is Sins, just a house of memory, so with one try, we can make it to the giant and get the first toxic proc of the run. Woo! Can't wait for the second one. That one's going to be a banger, I know it. Dragon Slayer Armor V1 goes smoothly. All there is to do is circle the legs and wait for the stagger, and then knock him off the cliff. Heading down the spinning, non-spinning elevator and exiting right, you can pick up another Demon Titanite. Going through the rafters and not falling. For once, I go through Anor Londo normally instead of doing the stair skip, and that's because here in the room Siegmeyer asks for help in, there's a chest that contains 3 more Demon Titanite. The Silver Knights don't chain pull, so we can take them out one at a time, and grab ourselves the 3 Demon Titanite. Before ONS, we get the weapon to a +4, and get ready to take on the worst version of Thronewatcher Defender. Orange City moves around a lot, and so to hit him consistently, it's best to hit him while he's attacking or when he's recovering from the attack animation. Even still at minimum stat requirements, he goes down in just 6 hits, which is insane. Super Smo is even easier than most bosses. All you need to do is just run towards him and he'll jump over you. This gives you a free window for an attack, and after repeating it, Smo goes down. First try. This weapon so far is doing really well, and I'm genuinely impressed with how well it's been able to keep up. We join the Princess Guard Covenant for the second item in the run, the Miracle Boosting Ring, and head out into the main hall to invade Lautrec for his ear. That line will make sense in like 5 seconds, trust me. Lautrec goes down in 4 hits, and while we can't use the Fap Ring, we can, however, use his ear, aka the Souvenir of Reprisal, the Covenant currency of the Blades of the Dark Moon. Now, to save time, I do a dupe to get 99 of these, and with 99 ears, I head back to Anor Londo, get a surprise from a gargoyle, and perform a specific quit out to open the path to Gwendolyn. Devoting my allegiance for a moment and giving him the 99 ears, we can get the Darkmoon Blade, which we can't use, but also the Darkmoon Talisman, the first and only talisman we can use in this run. With the lordvessel, I go back to the Sunlight Altar and join to get Lightning Spear. Over the course of this run, I've just been slightly leveling Faith, as most stuff is locked behind it. For this run, I needed to place the lordvessel with Kath, as he gives us access to another covenant. But first, we had to take to Darkroot. And well, since I'm strapped for souls, I can't really buy the Crest of Artorias, so... Sorry about that. First try goes poorly as Sif decides to move around a lot, but second try, we're able to stay under her for 90% of the fight and take her down for the Covenant of Artorias. And luckily, since it has Covenant in the name, we can use it. I felt lucky today, so I wanted to go gambling, and well... get the key, drain the water, and plunge myself into the Black Abyss like any other Thursday. The Four Kings is a notorious fight for being a roadblock in challenge runs. It's a DPS check of a fight, and most players just stay next to the king and trade blows with it, but with my 0 heals and 0 armor, I cannot do this. Along with the fact that the Four Kings magic is literally a time waster attack, makes this fight a full RNG fest, where most attempts don't even get past the first king, let alone the second. It is a battle of RNG. And after a little while, I do get lucky enough to win. With the lordvessel placed with the cooler Framped and humanity duped to save innocent rats, offering it to Framped but cooler, we can get the only armor set of this run. But also another weapon, but considering I gave Andre a free vacation, I can't really use it. Whoops. Realizing I'm still at a +4, I go back to Sins for 2 more Demon Titanite, and then the Anor Londo Titanite Demon for the last 2. With the Piss Fog gone, we can for once willingly go to the Duke's Archives because we can get another 2 Covenant items here. I do the usual, die unintentionally, die intentionally, and get locked up. At the bottom of the prison tower, the 2 Pisakas in the back drop 2 miracles, Soothing and Bountiful Sunlight, the only 2 methods of healing during this run. No, wait. I know 4 of you are saying and typing that it's not a Covenant reward. The run's invalid, and you're technically right, but let me raise you this. These 2 miracles cannot be used unless you are a part of the Princess Guard. So therefore, it is locked behind a Covenant. So I'm allowing it. I can't even use these at the moment, so for now, I do the rest of the archives like the Stair Puzzle, Caves, and Killing Seath. Heading back into the Wendy's basement and into the fiery oven of hell, I bully a child for his sister's clothes and die to a wall centipede. twice. Unfortunately, my weapon is now almost broke, so Lightning Spear gets its 4 seconds of fame by taking down the wall centipede. After repairing the weapon, I get my second Toxic of the run. Woo! At this point in the run, it's just doing Dark Souls 1 with the Gravelord sword, so I'm speeding things up for a minute here. Centipede Demon kills us once, but I get the orange Charred Ring, and we use it to take him down second try. Now, for the 7 of you typing, yes, this isn't a Covenant item, and yes, this does invalidate the run, but let me raise you this. 1, I could have joined the Daughters of Chaos and given the 30 humanity to skip the lava and fight Centipede Demon on the rocks, but it just wastes my time and just makes the Centipede Demon just slightly more tedious. And second of all, do you really actually care? It's just the Centipede Demon. Anyways, we now have enough souls to finally use Bountiful Sunlight, if I was actually in the Princess Guard Covenant. But regardless, we can scale the tower, place Chutes and Ladders twice, and punch the bug. Nito took me 12 minutes. In those 12 minutes, I started at Firelink, went down the catacombs with Bountiful Sunlight's regen, made it to the first Tomb of the Giants bonfire, ran through the second half of Tomb of the Giants, and reached Nito. Bountiful Sunlight helps recover the fall damage we take when entering Nito's arena. We put on the bone armor and bone off against the Bone Lord himself, Bone Lord Nito. His bonies die in one hit, and we do a good enough damage to Nito with our version of the Bone Sword. All there is to do is stick to his bones and run away from the explosion. And just like that, the Bony Lord goes down. Not much left besides the few optional bosses and the DLC, so let's knock the easy ones out first. Moonlight Butterfly goes down in one cycle. In the Painted World, we can swag jump off the bridge, mess with the dragon's ass, and fight Priscilla. Once we find Priscilla, we just need to sit behind her and she goes down. Taking the Crow Express back to the asylum, we can fight the Stray Demon and get the third Toxic of the run! Woo! Yippee! Woo! Third Toxic, we love you! Lastly, we kill our former leader for being too hot and also needing 99 ears for whatever reason. With them all out of the way, I can take on the 3 DLC bosses. 4? What do you mean 4 DLC bosses? There's only 3! Sanctuary Guardian is up first, and I've gotten a lot better at this fight over time. I can only reliably punish the slower attacks, but we do good enough damage, and I take him down in our first few tries. While heading to Artorias, the final boss decides to say hi. What do you mean he's not the final boss? There's not a 4th boss. Calamite is the last one. It's just Sanctuary Guardian, Artorias, and Calamite. Whatever. Anyway, we make it to Artorias, and he proves kind of a challenge. Back in Chaos Blade 1, I pretty much had to learn Artorias over from scratch, and those lessons really carried over till now. I was still dying, some deaths being from skill issues and others being from complete bullshit. But the main takeaway from this is you don't want to be next to Artorias for very long. If you're around him, he will eventually do the Spitting Slash, which will always hit you if you roll into him, and the Back Away Slash, which he creates distance from you. I really only like to punish the Ground Stab, Thrust, and Buff. Anything else just really depends on the situation for me. I died a lot here, and this was definitely the longest fight of this run, but eventually he did go down and only one DLC boss left. We take a short trip into Ulasil and pick up the key to Goth. Too bad there's not really anything else in Ulasil. We go trigger Calamite and have Go shoot him down. Once again, back in Chaos Blade 1, I pretty much had to learn Calamite from scratch, and I'm still pretty good at Calamite. All you really need to do is stick on his right side and get the occasional attack in. And first try, he goes down. All that's left is the Father of the Flame. Gwen was so easy, in fact, that I'm not even going to script it. Mainly because I'm running out of time, and I don't really want to script Gwen. But yeah. Basically, all we did was cast Bountiful Sunlight before going into the arena, and Jin just parry. I'm not honestly the best at parrying Gwen, so this did in fact take a while. I can get really everyone's parry down in this game. I just Gwen trips me up, and I can't ever parry him right. So it did take a minute, but after a few attempts, I got pretty good with RNG for him using the slow slashes, and also just I got lucky. I take Gwen down, and we can beat Dark Souls 1 with only Covenant items. Once again, thank you for watching.